His dad was a professional bowler. His dad was the first professional bowler ever to win the Triple Crown.
Okay.
One of the best, one of the first people inducted into the Hall of Fame. Billy Hardwick.
Okay.
Back in the straight ball days.
Where everything was plastic.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Chris Hardwick's dad.
I know, no, what do you mean everything was plastic?
All the balls were plastic.
All the bowling balls were plastic. My gray and black bowling ball over there is plastic.
Oh.
So, it doesn't hook.
Oh, yeah.
It just kind of goes straight. Chris's dad bowl back in the days when pretty much all of the balls were like that, so they all just kind of went straight.
Warning, the following show will spoil the hell out of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire books and the TV show A Game of Thrones. Also, you're probably going to find a fuck ton of bad language. The explicit tag is there for a reason.
Death and boobies, 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 death and boobies.
Welcome back to the Ironwood Network Book Club. I am Maester Ironwood. Today I am back with Widow Wolfsbane and Lady Wyvern. Ladies, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good today. How about you guys?
I'm fantastic.
I'm fantastic. Today we are going to be discussing Eddard, Chapter 2. Ned Rides South. Whatever you want to call it. The Great Southern Ride.
Neddard to the south.
Don't look at me like that.
Neddard to the south, man.
I think he's just heading toward his own doom.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
You finished the book once before, so obviously you know that he's headed towards his own doom. Spoilers.
Spoiler to me, god damn it.
Spoiler alert. But, so, yes, we've got Ned on the King's Road, riding south with the King.
The morning.
So let's jump right in. Widow Wolfsbane, you have a short synopsis of Eddard for us. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going on?
All right, so our buddy Ned here is roused from his sleep in the wee hours of the morning because before they actually start riding south, Robert wants to go for an actual ride, just the two of them, before he has to sit his ass on the horse all day and go at the slow walk that they've got to go on. He wants to, go running through the field, so he wakes Ned's ass up to go have a private conversation away from all the ears in camp, and hauls ass out of there. And then finally, after a couple miles, when they've left everyone in the dust, finally decides that it's time to slow down and stop, and they sit back for a few minutes on their horses and just, bullshit with each other and talk about some stuff, and Ned gets all defensive and, hey, don't fucking talk about my bastard's mother and shit like that. And, let's see, where am I?
That's extremely vague.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to be vague so that way he doesn't, go into there yet.
Very vague.
We'll let him get into it when he wants to get into it, because we know he's going to.
Oh, so we're trying to keep the rambling to a minimum?
I'm using the rambling and the minimum for the synopsis for you guys. Just for you guys this time.
How thoughtful.
I know, right? I try. So they do that whole thing, and then they start talking about the fact that Robert has the spies on the other side of the Narrow Sea. Jorah Mormont is spying on the Dothraki whore chick.
Sir Jorah, say it ain't so.
I know. What a good guy.
Princess Dany?
Yeah.
And Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
Dothraki whore chick?
She's the Dothraki whore now.
She's a 13-year-old who was sold off to Dothraki whore.
Yeah, that's not...
Don't make her a whore.
Robert doesn't care. Robert doesn't care.
She's a Targaryen whore, according to Robert. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Targaryen whore.
He's part Targaryen, is he not?
He is.
Robert?
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, well, fuck. God damn you guys, twice.
Robert,
twice in 10 minutes.
Robert is indeed part Targaryen, which is why when the rebellion took place, Robert had the best claim to the throne, because there are Targaryens on the female side of Robert's house.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Didn't know that. All right. But yeah, so they start talking about that. They start talking about, that she's eventually going to start spouting out some kids, and Robert wants to get her a wedding gift, which is a bold man with a sharp knife with a bold man to wield it, so he can gut her like a fish, hopefully.
I love that line from Ned. Shall we get her a wedding gift?
Yeah, exactly, because Ned's like, why the fuck do we care, dude? She's no threat to us, blah, blah, blah.
She's a billion miles away with horse lords who are afraid to cross the ocean. I think we're okay.
Yep, and Robert's having problems with that, and he doesn't want to go fine with it, and then they start talking about the Arryn boy being warden of the East, the Weast, if you will.
Robert won't have it.
Right? Yeah, Robert's like the Weast, North, South, East, and West. So
South to Snud.
So
it sounds like Alice in Wonderland. South to Snud. No, West to Queast.
West to Queast. No, so Maester's just sitting over here, face palming the fuck out of his eyes. Oh my god, perfect. Oh, I love this show. But they're sitting there talking about the John Arryn boy, and Robert's like, no, I'm not naming that little sickly fucker as Warden of the East. Like, I don't got time for that shit.
I know he's your nephew, Ned, but he's a little piece of shit pansy, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No.
So, and then he's sitting there, and Ned's like, well, fuck you, then, I'll take care of the kid, and I'll be the guy, or whatever, until he's old enough, and then after he's old enough, I'll give it to him. And Robert's got, like, that arm on the back of the head, scratching his head like, about that.
Might be a little late.
Might be a little late for that. Might have already told that Jaime Lannister guy that, he can be the Warden of the East, even though his dad's the Warden of the West. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
What we need is more.
Also, the fact that Robert doesn't seem to understand that Jaime can't hold any titles or lands.
Yes. Yeah.
Or give a shit.
Because he's a member. Plus, he doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
But he can't, due to his vows.
As the Kingsguard.
Right. Yep. Have any titles or lands, so.
Yep. Well, and then Ned gets all butthurt about it because, the Arryn boy's his nephew because it's Catelyn's sister.
I don't think that's why he gets butthurt.
No, that's half of it.
Just because, it's supposed to. He doesn't want the Lannisters to have control of half
the realm. And
half the realm, yeah. And that's the thing that he argues the most about, is that he doesn't want the Lannisters to control half of it. I think part of it's that now he also lost his dibs too, being that it's his nephew and the Lannisters have no ties directly to the East like Ned does. So they go through that.
Yeah, because he grew up in the Vale.
Yeah, he did.
So he doesn't want to see Jon Arryn's power pass to the Lannisters of all people.
No, because we don't want the Lannisters to take over the entire realm. Which is what the Lannisters want to do exactly.
Right, well, it's because Tywin Lannister is Machiavelli, and that's what he wants to do.
He wants to rule everything.
Who's Machiavelli?
I know we've covered this before. The Prince Machiavelli.
Conqueror.
Famous Italian guy.
No.
Not a conqueror.
No? Oh, I don't know then.
No, that's Napoleon.
No.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. No idea.
Niccolo Machiavelli, don't worry about it.
Okay.
We'll Google that later for you.
Okay.
We'll Alexa that later. It's more fun.
So shut up.
Oh, anyone who's listening to this, and if they have an Alexa, that's going to go off.
You're welcome. Thanks, Alexa. Bye, Alexa.
Let's see what Alexa says about Machiavelli. Why not? Alexa, who is Niccolo Machiavelli?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Well, you suck, so shut up. Okay, she doesn't know. So
You're welcome, everyone.
We'll do that later.
You're welcome, everyone who's having their little Amazon devices go off at this point because we're fucking with you guys. So, and just for the shits of it, okay, Google. Just to have you guys have that go off too. But then, Ned... Your
phone did.
Yes, your phone went off. Lady Wyvern's phone went off. Fuck yes. Yes. So I know it's going to work for all you guys at home.
Fuck you. Your phone probably went off in your pocket. You
might probably
want to check
did.
My phone's the one that didn't go off because guess who's got their phone locked?
Your phone can...
No, my phone's locked too.
Okay. There we go. We know that Lady Wyvern doesn't have her phone locked. So if anyone wants to steal one of our phones, it's Lady Wyvern's you want to go for.
I just unlocked it.
Oh, because you got it charging. All right.
Yeah.
So anyway, now that we've all fucked with your devices and everything for this week, so Ned starts having a hissy fit about the fact that the Vale is going toward the Lannisters and, having a problems, and especially the fact that he absolutely hates Jaime Lannister. And then they start going through this nice, deep, dark conversation about why Ned hates Jaime Lannister so much. And when Robert was still out fighting all his battles and, winning the last bit of the war and everything, Ned goes into the throne room to go, make sure his shit's all taken care of. And who's got their ass on the... Oops, sorry, I hit Lady Wyvern's microphone. That might be fucked it up a little bit.
Grabbed it.
Yeah, I did. But who's got their ass sitting on the middle of Robert's throne? Jaime Lannister. 17-year-old Jaime Lannister sitting his ass on the throne after just fucking killing the king.
No, as far as I'm aware, Jaime killed the king, and therefore, at that point, has every right to go ahead and sit in the king's throne. I mean,
and as far as I think it's hilarious, he was just keeping it warm for Ned, he's just sitting there trying to keep the throne warm for Robert, who's got to drive his ass all the way out from wherever the fuck he is right now. And then Robert's like, ha 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 ha. That's really why you fucking hate Jaime Lannister. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, he was a kid. I really don't care.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Robert on this shit, too.
I do, too.
But then again, we all know that I'm a Jaime fan, so...
Yeah, I am, too. Are you the only one that doesn't agree with us? Because I feel you're the anti-Jaime one here.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jaime.
He's the anti-Dany. You're both the anti-Sandor Clegane.
I like Sandor as a character. Great character. Shitty person,
That's fair.
He's a fucking horrific person, but
he's
a great character.
Yeah, I say, but yeah,
fine.
You're the anti-Jaime, and you're the anti-Dany.
Oh, I'm very anti-Dany.
I don't think I'm an anti-anybody.
Dany's just boring.
Not yet. You'll get there.
No, I'm anti-Catelyn, but everyone's anti-Catelyn. That doesn't matter. Yeah, being anti-Catelyn's like saying, "Hey, I'm white."
No, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who like Catelyn.
You're not white, honey.
I don't get it.
I'm white. I'm white Hispanic. I'm white. Listen, I'm white. It's the first thing I put on everything. But then I also are like, are you of Latin descent? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I am.
Is it going to help me? Oh, yeah. Then
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely it is.
I don't have paperwork to prove otherwise, so I'm white.
Oh, well.
Me too.
I didn't know you needed paperwork
You're
for that.
as white as they come, Maester.
I'm as white as white can get.
Yeah, you are. White bread.
Yep.
White bread, home bread.
All of the European countries that are as white can be.
And the traveling ones, too.
And the traveling people.
I say, I got a little bit of habituelas in me.
A little bit of what?
Habituelas. Beans. Spanish word for beans. Just because it's the first Spanish word that came to my mind.
Well, I got a little bit of gypsy.
Oh!
Like full-on legit.
That's nice!
Full-on legit gypsy.
What branch?
Romani.
Nice! It's even better!
Mm-hmm.
You should be on that show, My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding.
Why would I do that?
Because it's horrifying and would be fun for me to watch.
Nope, not gonna happen. I don't watch reality TV. Why the fuck would I be on it?
Because you don't have to watch it later.
You want to be on the wall.
No. Oh, that's not a reality TV. That's a game show.
No.
Yes,
whatever.
I do love The Wall.
Fair enough.
So far off topic.
I feel like game shows don't count though, because game shows are more. I don't know. They can be trivia.
Our books have a wall.
They do have a wall.
There's no Chris Hardwick running around Castle Black, but there is a wall.
Do you know who Chris Hardwick is?
Yeah, who doesn't know who Chris Hardwick is?
Just checking.
He's the host of The Wall.
Yeah.
I love The Wall.
Yeah, he's a bowler.
He's also the guy who does...
He's the son of a bowler.
Chris Hardwick's also the guy who does The Talking Dead.
Yes. And just talking with Chris Hardwick now.
Yeah.
And the Nerdist podcast. And was doing At Midnight.
I love him. He's adorable.
Yeah, I love Chris
I think he's
Hardwick.
hilarious.
Wait, so he's not a bowler, just his dad is?
His dad was a professional bowler. His dad was the first professional bowler ever to win the Triple Crown.
Okay.
One of the best, one of the first people inducted into the Hall of Fame. Billy Hardwick.
Okay.
Back in the straight ball days.
Where everything was plastic. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Chris Hardwick's dad.
I know, no, what do you mean everything was plastic?
All the balls were plastic.
All the bowling balls were plastic. My gray and black bowling ball over there is plastic.
Oh.
So, it doesn't hook.
Oh, yeah.
It just kind of goes straight. Chris's dad bowl back in the days when pretty much all of the balls were like that, so they all just kind of went straight.
Oh, so you couldn't,
There's no big hook like there is today.
Oh, okay. All right. Now I understand what you're talking about.
That didn't really come out until, Mark Roth.
I don't know who that is. I understand what you're talking about. I don't know who the people are, but when you say that, I'm gonna
go ahead and nerd alert on myself.
Yeah,
nerd alert.
Nerd alert. Nerd alert.
You're gonna have to give her a time frame for Ross.
Mark Roth.
Yeah,
the 80s.
Ross.
The
70s, late 70s, early 80s, late 70s into the 80s.
All right, so it's been around for a little while now.
Was in the 50s and 60s.
Did he make it popular?
Mark Roth?
Yeah, was he the reason that people started doing it?
One of the reasons, him and Marshall Holman, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
We're so far off.
All right, so I'm going to wheel us right back around.
PBA started here in upstate New York, actually.
Did he?
In Albany, first tournament ever.
Listen, I'm going to wheel us right back around, and I know that Maester Ironwood is just dying dying.
A bowling episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we have a bowling episode of the podcast, but I know that he's just dying to go over the first part of Ned and Eddard's conversation.
Not even just the first part.
I said Ned and Eddard. That's the same guy. Yeah, he's talking to himself.
Yep.
Ned and Robert's conversation that I just fucking steamrolled right over.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised you went so vague on it.
I went vague on it so that way we could get through the whole synopsis before going through the breakdown that he really so badly wants to do. No, we did. We made it to the synopsis with Jaime's dark deed at the end, and Robert didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Robert's like,
that was 8 of chapter.
Robert's basically like fake jerking off, like, please tell me more, Ned, about why you don't like Jaime.
Yeah,
whatever.
That would just make him go limp, wouldn't it?
Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe he thinks Jaime's pretty.
Maybe he's got beer dick already.
He could already have beer dick. He gets wine dick.
He's got a thing for whores.
So Jaime's a whore. Not really. He's not a whore.
Female whores.
It never specifies female
Jaime has
whores.
only ever slept with his sister.
Yeah, they never really specify if he has a thing. If he's a bi guy, bi tri guy.
I've only ever seen women
in the show.
In the books, they only mention women too.
No, maybe he just likes horse. All right, fine. He likes tits.
I mean, Oberyn.
He's competing.
Gets down with both.
Yeah, I say Oberyn gets down with both.
This isn't King Robert.
Listen, royalty can do whatever the fuck they want.
Mm-hmm.
No one questions that shit.
It's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king. Mel Brooks, salute.
Leave us alone, Mel Brooks.
And we're doing it again.
I still have no idea what the fuck you guys are referencing.
You really just need to watch Robin Hood Men in Tights.
You're going to come over to my house.
Go to your parents' house and sit down with because I know she loves this movie and watch Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes.
I'm not having my little sister corrupt me.
And loves Blazing Saddles. The first time he watched Blazing Saddles when we went on vacation, and Mom and Dad knew he was watching it. He watched it 6 times in one day. He thought it was fucking hilarious.
I have never seen Blazing Saddles.
Of course you haven't.
You're just gonna come over to my house and we're gonna.
I don't like apple pie, so we know you're not an American. You're a fucking commie spy.
This is no.
That's not...
Wait, do you hate mashed potatoes too and baseball?
She does actually.
Guys, we have a communist on the podcast.
She likes Aaron Judge, and that's it.
We have a communist on the podcast. Everyone, we gotta get blacklisted.
All right, so who wants to start our discussion of Eddard? Who's got anything they want to go over?
I'll start.
Okay.
My first thing I notice is King after they ride the horses into the sunrise, and they finally stop and they start talking. It seems like King Robert really doesn't want to be king anymore.
It does seem like he's because he makes several comments it's like fucking counting coppers.
Yep.
Like it's bullshit. Like
he wants to
go. He wants to go back where he could go actually fight somebody and get some
Right.
blood on him, and then go get drunk and take a whore home with him.
Yeah,
he's a conqueror. He's not a ruler.
Yeah,
he's a conqueror,
and he's just. Fuck it, leave Cersei and the kids, let them walk home.
Yeah, you and me, Ned, riding around the countryside, 2 vagabond knights.
Yes. We'll go back to the good old days, and Ned's
But first we're gonna set Cersei's carriage house on fire.
Oh, that's so good, yes.
Yeah. Well, that's if it breaks another wheel.
Yep.
Because God knows
only if it breaks an axle. And then Ned's gonna light the torch.
He'll light the fire for it.
Yep. Because Ned fucking hates the Lannisters, all that much.
He'll hate them even more once he figures out it was them that did that to Bran.
But yeah, I get the feeling from Robert that he doesn't really enjoy being king.
He doesn't want to be married to Cersei.
Like he even said in Ned's first chapter when they were talking in the crypts that Ned should have done him a favor and kept the fucking seat for himself.
Yes. Yeah. Because Ned's a lot better at the bureaucracy shit than
Ned's a boring dude.
But he does a lot more.
I think you mean
about it here.
Beginning of this chapter. Yeah, because now he's not even though they were alone in the crypts too a little bit. Like now they're they don't have his knights or anything behind him. Like they don't have the guard or anything like this. Just they're alone now.
Now he's old and tired. He wants to get back to feeling alive again, and he wants to.
He wants
put his sword in somebody, and
he wants to stick his sword in some sheaths.
He wants to stick both of his swords into something.
Not that sword.
Not necessarily at the same time and at the same person.
I think he means both swords.
He means both swords.
I don't think necrophilia is his thing.
Well, no, he wants to stick one sword in a dead person and the other sword into living people.
Yeah, but not at the same time.
Maybe you stick the first sword in them and then the second sword after.
That's horrible.
But
that's something Joffrey would do.
Well,
That's something
maybe
Joffrey
that's where
would
Joffrey
do.
gets it from. We don't know. We don't know that much
that is not where Joffrey gets it from, because Robert is not Joffrey's father.
Sure, but you have nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
Joffrey was raised by Robert.
Robert hardly spends any time around the children.
Which is probably one of the reasons why he's fucked up.
Yeah, he didn't have his dad to show him how to
Most
fuck
people
horse the right
weren't
way.
raised around their parents. Ned was raised in the Eyrie.
Yeah.
They're the same people that raised Robert.
Right, and he turned out
And
fine.
they turned out completely different.
They are not the same, which is the whole nature versus nurture thing. They got the same raising, but they're two different people. So
you got
right,
nature
so that's
and nurture
nature.
both play an effect.
yeah.
Right. It's too complicated right now. I'm too tired for this shit.
I can't disagree with you on that one, because nature versus nurture is like the biggest fucking...
Yeah, we could do a 16-hour podcast just on that.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that shit.
Yeah, because that's a huge thing that we go through
seed
for
is
animal
strong.
behavior.
The seed is
Yeah.
wrong in this one,
The
yes.
seed is
Yep.
strong.
And Joffrey's not of his seed.
As far as we know.
Excuse you, madam. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Are you joining-
Septa Meow has joined us.
Are you joining the podcast today, sweetie?
Putting my drink over here so she doesn't knock that over.
Are you joining me for the podcast? Come here.
Septa Meow?
Come here.
Hi, Septa Meow. I didn't get you to meow and you won't meow now. No, don't come over to me. I'm allergic to you.
She's allergic. She doesn't like kisses.
I don't. I've been there. It's not a fan
Well,
of mine.
sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. You can't.
I
be
did
on
learn the
table.
hard way.
You gotta try.
I did. I tried it. I tried it before I knocked it. So, I mean, I at least did it in the right order. Alright, so we'll get back to our conversation here. So, Robert hates ruling with a bloody fucking passion, wants to run
Yeah.
away and...
Like, he tries to make
Join
jokes
the
about it,
circus.
but
Yeah.
I think he's definitely trying to joke to cover up the fact that he really actually thinks that way.
He's-
And probably
yeah.
if Ned had said yes, probably would have totally just ran off with Ned.
Oh yeah.
to be like
He'd go
two
to the
hedge
nearest-
knights running
he'd
around.
Yeah.
go off
He'd
to
be
the
like, yes,
nearest
God.
inn and they buy all the ale and all the horse
Yep.
they could get.
Yep.
He's...
But
Robert...
Ned's too honorable for
Yeah,
that.
no, Robert threw that idea out there, and he goes, I'm going to base my level of how serious I am about this based on your response. Like, either I'm really serious about this if you say yes, or no, I'm just joking
No,
if
what
you say
about
no.
what about Ned? Because Ned's response is interesting because he has a wife and kids at home, and Ned's response is, "Would that I could."
It's
Well,
just,
I'm an honorable man and I
Yeah.
have duties at home.
Right.
That's like
That's just
saying
it.
I'd love to go to the bar tonight, but I have to be up at 4 a.m. for work.
No, but like,
Would
you
that I
think
could.
Ned would run off?
He's too honorable for that.
Aside from that, it seems like he's saying, "I would totally rather be doing that than what I'm doing these days."
I think he would rather be doing that, because who the fuck wants to stay there and be married to Catelyn Tully?
That's true. He is married to Catelyn Tully.
Like, who wants to... I mean, he fucks Catelyn Tully because he's too honorable to fuck other bitches.
Ended up
And...
with 5 kids out of the deal.
As far as
Yeah.
we know, I mean, maybe he's banging Rose
Is it
in
5
the,
or
in
is
the
it
whorehouse.
4?
Raz.
It's 5.
What?
I said, is it 4 kids or is it 5?
5?
It's 5.
5
with
through her.
Catelyn and
And then
one
John.
with Ashara.
Sure. Sure. I'm not gonna argue it, but I'm still not gonna agree with
I'm
it.
just gonna stare at my nail beds and pretend I didn't hear that.
Yep, I'm just looking over here. Look at this horrifying manicure I've got going on. Gonna pretend that he's not talking about
All right. Well,
N plus A equals J.
speaking of that,
Yes,
Yes.
this is the part that he all wants, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I can feel the boner growing.
there. Well, I mean, don't sit on my lap when we're doing a podcast. I mean, whatever.
Fine, just ruin all my fun.
You know, I thought it sounded kind of funny. Didn't realize you guys were using the same microphone.
So, alright, so they get into the conversation specifically about...
Robert's talking
Ned's-
about his horrors.
Yeah, his horrors and all the conquests that he's
Becca.
done. And
Yeah.
Becca, who we thought was Ned's for a second, and then realized that
Remembered
no,
it
it
was
wasn't.
his.
Yeah, then remembered that
Yeah,
it's his.
remembered all the horrors he
And
fucked.
yeah, and like that she's got that great bosom,
Yep.
like yours
Dark
truly.
hair. Long dark hair.
Oh, like yours
I
truly.
guess your new name's Becca.
I guess I'm gonna be Becca, you guys. Lady Becca.
Not a lady.
Becca Wolfsbane.
Lady of the Night Becca.
Oh, wrong kind of...
Oh, wait, we had that conversation about Lady Wyvern being Lady of the Night Wyvern.
Yes.
Me?
Yeah.
On air?
No.
It might be on.
It might be a recording.
No, it might have gotten cut from the show.
It might have gotten cut. It was when you weren't there. We were just talking about ladies and like we started
Are you calling me a whore?
It might have been a couple weeks ago.
She may have.
I may have.
Just say it to my face.
I am right now. I'm like, I remember.
After
And I'm telling you.
fact.
Yeah, but I'm telling you right now because I just remembered.
You called me easy less than an hour ago.
All right,
Jesus,
all
man.
right, all right.
We're all easy
What
here.
is your problem?
I'm
Are
horny.
you jealous?
I'm horny.
Now,
Can't help you with that.
I know, because I've already tried the vajaj and I don't like it. And I do like to use it as a vajaj. Like, I like that word better. It just makes me happy.
okay, so we have Robert questioning Ned about the mother of
His bastard.
his bastard. You know the one I mean, your bastard's mother.
Yes.
To which Ned responds, "Her name was Wyla," Ned replied with cool courtesy, "and I would sooner not speak of her."
Because he doesn't like to talk about his lady friend.
Well, it's not even a lady friend, because the name Wyla is Australian.
It's getting bigger, you guys. It's growing.
It's Australian.
Of course it's getting bigger. It's Australian.
And it means
Down under.
wife.
Bum, bum, bum.
And we all know that George is extremely careful when picking out names for his characters.
Yeah, he is.
If he doesn't know a character's name, he doesn't know who they are, and he can't write them. He's said as much in interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he just randomly called the mother of John's bastard Wyla with no intention behind it.
Yeah.
So that means to me that the mother of Ned's bastard is actually his wife, his first wife, and therefore John's really not a bastard.
Means Catelyn's marriage to Ned is false to men,
And all the other Stark children
the
are
eyes
the
of
bastards.
gods and the eyes of men.
because I dishonored myself and I dishonored Catelyn in the sight of gods and men.
Oh, doesn't she
So,
sound like she's
put it there.
agreeing with us?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's got the supporting evidence for this specific instance, you guys.
so we got-
I can get behind supporting evidence.
So we got Rob Snow, and
Rob Snow.
Sansa Snow,
Sansa Snow,
Arya
Snow,
Brandon Snow,
Brandon Snow,
and
Rickon Snow.
Rickon Snow.
and Jon Stark.
Those snowy fuckers.
By the way, there was an actual king of the North
Who was a Snow?
who was Jon Stark,
Oh, Jon Stark.
who built
Yeah.
the Wolf's Den.
I would love to see Sansa's face
When she finds out
when
she's
she
a
finds
Snow.
out she's a Snow and he's a Stark.
I would love for that theory to be true solely for that image. Just that image.
Keep reading. I guess we'll find out.
I think it just had a
But
little
yeah,
orgasm.
I find it interesting
A
that
braingasm?
No, an orgasm.
Oh.
Because
I find
of
it
that
interesting
image.
that George would name Jon Snow's mother Wyla and not have it would be way too big of a coincidence that her name's Wyla and Wyla means wife
Right.
for it not to mean something, because George doesn't do coincidence. I've yet to come across a random coincidence in George's books, especially when it comes to naming people.
Right.
It always means something.
See? I told you guys he was excited about this.
Yeah,
sound
the table is bouncing
He
a
does.
little bit.
Yeah, well, he's got his hand down there, so...
And also, when after Ned says that, then Robert said she must have been a rare wench if she could make Lord Eddard Stark forget his honor, even for an hour. And then Ned's mouth tightens in anger after Robert says that. And then he says, "Nor will I. Leave it be, Robert."
Yeah, because he doesn't want to talk about it, because
Because he dishonored himself and Catelyn.
Yes,
In the sight of
going
gods and
through
men.
this theory with this bit of evidence here, I'm not going to say that I still believe it yet, because I still don't have enough evidence to convince myself yet. But, through your theory that he would be pissed that he's calling his legitimate wife a wench, that Robert's calling his legitimate
Rare
wench.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that Ned's like, don't call my bitch a wench.
Yep. And there's only 2 times ever Ned's described as angry.
Yeah.
This is the second one. The first one is when Catelyn says that she had never seen Ed angrier than when she asked him about a Sharadane.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 2 times Ned is ever described as angry.
He's got some anger issues right now, apparently.
As,
Getting all sorts
as,
of-
as
Well,
related
I'm sorry.
to,
I'd be angry if I had to give up my marriage and my child for
if
false
you,
pretenses.
yeah, and
Because
then
my
you gave them up,
shithead
and
of a
then-
brother had to go get himself killed.
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
And then your best friend sits there and calls that woman a rare wench, or
Well, she would do that.
that's true, she would.
I mean, I would. Not to Alyssa, though. Not to Alyssa. Because I like Alyssa.
No, you would do that to whoever I ended up
Oh,
marrying.
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I call myself a salty wench all the time.
Yeah, I know.
I like being a salty wench.
I really hope.
But yeah, so there's that. That's all I have for N+A=J in this chapter, but I think it's some pretty compelling evidence early on in the books pointing to Jon Snow being a true Stark.
See, and I haven't read any of the books yet, so I don't have any of the other evidence, so I'm kind of like, eh.
All right, so the next thing we get to is Ned and Robert starts talking about the Dothraki whore.
Yeah, that's right.
Daenerys.
Dothraki horse whore.
She's not a whore by choice.
No, well, she's not even a whore at all,
in the
but...
book, I mean, she's a lot more willing than she is in the TV show.
That's true. I mean, that's fairly true.
And one of the things we learn is that Ser Jorah, who is over with Viserys and Daenerys, is actually a spy for Robert.
Bad
Indeed.
Jorah.
Indeed.
Oh, Ser Jorah. Say
So
it
we've been
ain't
sitting
so.
there, yeah,
Say
so
it ain't so.
We've been sitting there getting real nice and comfy with him and being like, oh, Jorah's not a bad guy. And he got Daenerys a whole bunch of books about her country. And he's giving all this information back to King Robert so he can murder her in her sleep. Great.
Because Ser Jorah wants to come home.
Yeah, he's trying to win back his
He's trying to get his royal pardon.
What's the word?
His honor.
His honor. He's trying to get his honor back.
He's
just trying to get pardoned, I think.
I was gonna say his visa.
Well, yeah, essentially
Yeah.
his ability to come home because
If he goes there, he'll be killed.
Ned had chased him off because he sold some poachers,
Which is
Slavers,
illegal.
which is illegal.
And it dishonors the Stark name.
Yep. So,
Because they're
Because he's
bannermen of
a
the
banner.
Starks.
So Ned, which is funny because Ned says that he went to kill him, but Ned doesn't say or give him the opportunity to take the black. Like he just said, I went over to kill him.
Yeah.
I was like, well, Ned, as far as I know, you're supposed to give him the opportunity to take the black first before you take off his head.
Well, that and doesn't he only ever cut somebody's head off at that one spot?
No, I don't
No.
think so, but that's where he definitely kills Oathbreakers,
Okay.
like who were brought to him to be killed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that's the execution spot away from the castle, but like I mean I'm sure he'd probably do it wherever he had to.
Like, I'm sure if he had found Jorah at Bear Island, he probably just would have done it there.
Yeah.
Just like stab him
Right.
in an alley somewhere.
No, he would take his head off.
He would do it all executioner style,
Yeah.
and hey, do you have any last words? And all these people are going to watch your head
And
be
not
cut
ask
off.
him if he wants to join the
I hope.
Yeah, exactly, not ask him that.
I hope you would at least give him the opportunity because you're supposed to be given the opportunity. Like,
Yeah.
your choices are always supposed to be death or the black.
Well, if he's not given the option of the black,
think
he's
it's
just going to
anything or
die
the
anyway.
black.
So it's not like he can fight for that.
Yeah, but I think it's anything or the black because the one guy. This is not like TV show based knowledge for me, but the one guy either had the option to lose his hand
Or take the black.
or take the black.
Right.
So I think it's either
Any punishment versus the black.
Yeah, versus
basically
take the
taking the black like erases all crimes.
yeah.
The only reason the one guy had no choice but to have his head taken off is because he had taken the black and then broke his vows and deserted.
Yeah.
So
Poor Gary.
they're not going to send him back to retake the black.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
sorry guys. You only get one chance to take the black and then you fucked up.
Yeah.
Then he did.
You only get to fuck up once.
So I would hope that Ned would have given him the opportunity to take the black and go up and live with it because
I don't think he would have. Otherwise Jorah probably. I feel like Jorah might have taken that.
no.
No.
No, Jorah wouldn't have taken it. He wouldn't. Because
his dad took it.
Yeah, which is weird. Also, by the way,
I want to know why Lord Mormont's out there.
I want to know why
Lord Commander.
Benjen's there. I want to know why Gior's there. Like, there's
Is that his
several-
name, Gior?
Gior
Mormont?
Mormont, yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
maybe he will in the later books.
I really hope so.
Oh.
Maybe it's another one of those things where, kind of like where they always have to have a Stark at the
That's
wall.
what
Maybe
I'm
they have
wondering.
To have a Mormont at the wall.
Well,
Or
always have to have a
whatever.
Stark. Always have to have like Bear Island seems like one of those places where maybe they do send people to the wall on a regular basis, like not like criminals, but like actual family members.
Yeah.
Like Benjen.
Like Benjen. Now, yeah, and is Benjen there by choice, or did Benjen do something wrong? And Ned was like, you better go fucking take the black before I take your head off, too, even though you're my little brother. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
several options as to why, but we don't learn yet
I feel
why
like-
Benjen's at the wall.
I feel like if it's a case of they have to have a family member up there, and I feel like they would get to choose that too. So maybe one of those things, like maybe Gior, is that his name?
Gior.
Maybe Gior is up there because he didn't want to have to make his son do it, And he'd already lived his life and done his things and owned his land, so maybe he gave his son a chance to take over, and then he'd, volunteered to go up there himself.
Yeah, and we don't know enough about past members of the Night's Watch to know whether there was a Mormont member of the Night's Watch who died right before Gior went up and decided to take his place, because there always has to be a Mormont in the Night's Watch. And there was a Stark in the Night's Watch who died right before Benjen went up, and because there always has to be a Stark in the Night's Watch. I mean, we don't know. It could very well be the same thing with Waymar Royce, who was also, Highborn.
Yeah,
and chose to take the black.
Yeah.
And what about the Targaryen?
Well, Aemon Targaryen did it because... Now, that's an interesting question. Do we also have to always have a Targaryen at the wall, too?
Mm-hmm.
Because he says that it's because he didn't want to have... They wanted to offer him the crown again.
And he's like, no thanks.
And he didn't want it, so he
was smarter than Robert.
went and took the black to get out of them having the opportunity to offer that to him again.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, is that true, or
is there
are Targaryens first men type people who fought in the first battle for the Dawn, and therefore maybe there was an original member of the Night's Watch who also was a Targaryen, and maybe there also always has to be a Targaryen at the wall?
Which would kind of suck, since there's only, 3
Except
left?
that we don't have a Targaryen at the wall right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because he died.
Because he died.
Right.
Some people would argue we do have a Targaryen at the wall. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, we don't, because he died too. The end of the last book.
True, at the end of the 5th book.
Left.
Yeah.
Well, according to the TV show.
According to the show, he leaves.
The TV show, he leaves.
Because his watch ended.
Yeah.
Which I have not a stopwatch, I have a pocket watch that actually is a cameo of Jon Snow that says my watch has ended.
I just wonder if maybe death does not mean you get your watches done.
I think it would. I would think that...
Do you think he'd be stuck at the wall until he died?
I have some interesting thoughts on the Night's Watch original members maybe being undead people like Jon Snow's going to be.
Oh, and Beric.
Like Cold Hands and Beric Dondarrion.
Yep.
And the possibility that maybe the original Night's Watch was... Right, because...
An army of undead?
An army of undead.
In all 13 castles?
Who better to fight the undead
than the undead
above the wall than the undead?
And the people who are back from the dead, who are not the others, are of the Lord of Light. They're brought back by the Lord of Light.
Right, you got
so
Dondarrion,
the Lord of Light versus
Lady
the Night
Stoneheart.
King.
So
this is way too much for my brain right now.
I just wonder if maybe we're going to find out that Jon Snow basically now is now fully prepared to be the last hero and lead a band of the undead brothers north of the wall to fight.
Is that's
what's a much broader...
The Beric guy. He's going to be coming up soon at some point to
Beric Dondarrion.
Yes, thank you.
The Lightning Lord.
That's a much broader conversation than we have time for now, Maester.
No, absolutely.
All right.
Just we were talking about always having Starks at the wall, and I just wonder if maybe that's one of the reasons why a Targaryen might also always have to be there.
Right. Well, it was leading into a conversation you and I had previously off air.
I think we should also go into the semi-annual segment of the show of Please, George, give us more information.
Well, we just recently got a new short story.
Yeah, but I want information solely on the Night's Watch. Now I'm I want George to write a history of the Night's Watch, so we can have.
That's not the next history book we're going to get.
No, I know.
The next history we're going to get is Fire and Blood, which is the Targaryens.
Yeah,
we're going to get a 2-parter, 2 books on the Targaryens, Fire and Blood.
Yeah, I want the Night's Watch.
2 textbooks on the Targaryens. Fire and Blood. Yep.
So
we'll
probably have
right up your alley.
We might have a slightly better lineage and more accurate lineage that way too.
But if you guys want, we can cover that short story that just came out. We can take an episode and cover that short story about Magar the Cruel.
Maybe. That's not the one you and I were listening to?
No, those are the novellas, the Duncan Egg novellas, which I think we'll cover those after we get done with the books, or maybe even between books. But we can definitely take an episode and cover that new short story that came out.
All right, yeah,
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
which was pretty cool. It was about Magar the Cruel. So
it's not in the same timeline as these books.
It's before. It's 100.
Okay.
It's before
okay.
Magar the Cruel.
I was going to say if it's between, if it's somewhere in one of the books.
It's called Sons of the Dragons.
Okay.
And it was Magar was the son of Aegon, who first conquered Westeros.
All right.
So it's like 300 years ago.
Sounds
according
like a
to the
plan to
timeline.
me.
And it's actually the
Okay.
cool stuff. And
So-
then the next short story comes out is, maybe it's novella. It's either short story, I think it's novellas, is the She-Wolves of the North.
Ooh. I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so then they get to the point where
One of Maester's favorite lines come up about sending Daenerys a wedding gift.
Yeah. Should we send her
Yeah.
a gift? Robert suggests a knife with a man to wield it. And Ned's like, stop trying to kill kids, you fucking piece of shit, old fat bastard.
Yep, pretty
Yeah.
much. I mean, that's the exact paraphrasing I got from that. So,
yeah,
Like, you piece of shit, you're better than this.
like, how many fucking times do I have to go over this with you, you motherfucker? Stop trying to murder babies.
It's just a Holocaust on Targaryens. That's all it is.
Robert wants
It
them all
is.
dead.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Even though he's related
Because
to them.
they're the only ones who can challenge him for a seat. And I mean, he's distantly
Distantly.
related.
Yeah.
like his great
But he doesn't
grandparents
even
or
like
something.
the damn seat either. Like, he fucking hates that thing, but he'd still rather
still
have it
likes
than let
the
the
power.
Targaryen. Yeah, he'd still rather have it than the
Oh,
Targaryen.
yeah,
He
because
knows what
that-
happened if somebody were through him. I mean, he'd lose his head, so
Yeah.
he doesn't
Right,
want
well,
that.
you know, he hasn't swung a sword at somebody properly in years, so he'd die anyways.
Yeah, I was to say, he hasn't
His
swung a sword
hammer.
at anybody in, like, ever, because he uses a hammer.
He uses a big war hammer,
You know what I meant.
which, by
Don't
the
get all
way, was
butthurt.
made by Donald Noy up at the wall.
Bob the
The
Builder.
armor in the Night's
Hey.
Watch.
Hey, his name's Robert, and he swings a hammer. Bob the Builder. Can he rule them?
Who's Bob the Builder?
Bob the Builder is a
kid's
children's
show.
cartoon show.
Okay.
It was
It's actually not a cartoon, it's a claymation.
It's a claymation
I
show.
like Claymation Rudolph.
It's a
No,
claymation,
it's a claymation
children's show.
about, like, problem solving and shit like that. And it was right at the end of my childhood. I was like, I was too old to watch it, but occasionally I would just be like, fuck it.
Bob's a construction guy, and all his
But
tools
figure
and
from, like,
All
his,
his
Builder.
tools talk.
and all his vehicles talk like
Yeah.
the cat vehicles. And
Cat's name was just Cat. Meow.
no, I'm talking about the bulldozer. And
Oh, yeah, all the bulldozers talked and all the tools talked. Everything talked. It was one of those
It's like
kind
a
of
Thomas
shows.
the Tank Engine
Okay, anyway.
claymation thing.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway,
So
back
yeah,
on talk.
Yeah, so Ned's telling Robert to quit being a fucking child killer. Like,
Yep.
it was
To no
horrific
avail.
when Tywin Lannister did it, and he's like, look, somebody had to do it. It might as well, I didn't have to do it. At least Tywin did it for me.
Yeah.
When he killed Rhaegar's children.
Still think it would
Well-
have been better just to take the children somewhere else.
I think the other thing, though, is weird. So, Ned...
They'll always have a claim to the throne, though. That's
Ned-
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like
Ned was
the
in his
Sears
Like
and
20s.
Danny.
I see Robert's point.
Yeah.
The kids will always have a claim to the throne, which
Yeah.
puts him in a tenuous position.
Mm-hmm.
Or if not him, then his children,
Yeah.
which he doesn't have except for Gendry.
Or any of the other bastards
Or any
he's
other
got
bastards.
The other
floating.
bastards that are around.
Because every single one of them's got dark hair floating
kind of
around.
have to know that he's got multiple of them. But no, so...
He's got dozens.
But-
He's got several of these claimed. Like there's
Yeah.
Edric Storm, who's at Storm's End,
Oh, I didn't know that.
who's actually a
It's in the
bastard
book,
he
not in the
acknowledged.
show.
Yeah, see, I don't
Yeah.
know those things. I don't
So-
know those ones yet. But no, but then there's like we're talking about the child killing and stuff, and Ned's like, "Stop being a fucking child killing. It's unspeakable." And the king's all like, "Unspeakable? What about what he did to your father and your brother?"
Yeah.
And he's sitting there comparing killing infants and children to killing people who were in their
Yeah,
mid 20s and
taking
30s.
a-
Smashing the head of a child against the wall until it's dead, I think, is probably worse than
That's
killing Ned
horrific.
Stark's brother.
Yeah, which
It's
I think he was
absolutely
suffocated, if I remember
horrific.
correctly. Like,
Ned
did they
Stark's
suffocate
brother,
him? Yeah.
he was basically hanged. The way it worked out was his father, or Aerys had challenged, or his father had demanded trial by combat against Aerys for their crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so Aerys said, fine, my champion is fire. So they put him in his armor and then used wildfire below him
Oh.
to basically bake him alive in his armor. And his son, Brandon, had a contraption around his neck where if he was trying to get to his sword,
Yeah.
which was in front of him, to cut down his father, but as he went further and further to try to get to the sword, it choked him.
Oh.
Oh, so he was trying to put his father out of his misery and...
Cut him down, get him out of the fire.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's some Saw movie level kind of shit
Yeah,
right
so
there.
that's how that all worked out.
Yeah,
So,
that's kind of fucked
That's
up.
creepy.
No, man, so it's pretty fucked up, but it's not bashing like,
Yeah.
an infant child's head against the wall fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Or like the Unsullied, where they have to like pay the owner of the child like a silver coin, and then they fucking slaughter it in front of its mother.
Yeah, it's screwed up too.
Well, they pulled the girl out from under her bed by her feet and killed her.
Yeah. Yep. And then Robert's like, fuck it, they killed your brother. It's like, not in the same way.
Not the same thing.
No, absolutely not.
Then Ned reminds Robert that the Dothraki, A, don't have any ships.
Yep.
B, are all the fucking way in Essos.
Yep.
And C, are terrified of the fucking ocean and won't cross it.
Yep. And he's like, so why the fuck are you worried that she married a horse lord that won't even come over here?
Yeah, exactly. So, shouldn't be a big deal. Who knows? And then we get into... That leads us directly into arguing about who's going to be the fucking Warden of the East.
Oh,
again.
God. Yep. Second time for this conversation.
So we get Ned saying, something about it, and then Robert's like, I'm not going to make the Arryn boy the fucking Warden of the East, Ned. Shut up.
And he's like... Well, then I'll fucking take care of it or something, and we need to take care of this Warden of the East shit.
I'll hold it in my nephew's stead until he's old enough to do it. To which Robert kind of gives him the, that sounds like a good idea, but,
No, they wanted
really? Do you think maybe? And so
they wanted to put it in Stannis' name.
They're like, give it to your brothers like Stannis or Renly.
Yeah, he's like, yep. Yeah. Tells him to give it to Stannis, and Robert's like, fuck Stannis, piece of shit little brother that he is.
Let's just give it to a Lannister.
So, and then Ned figures it out. He's like, oh, that's because you already offered it to Jaime. Robert says, yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jaime Lannister.
Oops.
To be the Warden of the East, and then eventually they both are talking about how eventually he's going to succeed Tywin Lannister as the Warden of the West and the Lord of Casterly Rock. Now, as far as I know, Jaime has taken vows of the Kingsguard that are vows until death that he can hold no lands and titles. And can't inherit anything.
So it would go to Tyrion.
So all of that would go to Tyrion. Mm-hmm. A, how can Jaime even be named Warden of the East? He's a member of the Kingsguard. He can't have a title.
Because the king can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Which apparently it's good to be the king.
Because you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Because apparently there has never been a dismissal of a Kingsguard, but Joffrey dismisses Sir Barristan Selmy later on.
He does.
Which is a dishonor.
I guess maybe, which is dishonorable. So I guess maybe Robert just plans to, when Tywin dies, release Jaime from his vows, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like Robb later on plans to release Jon from his Night's Watch vows.
Cersei won't let him because he needs to be close by so she can fuck him.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then, because she would go back to Lannisport at that point.
Yeah.
Lannisport, is that Casterly Rock?
Yeah, they're right near the same. Lannisport's the city right there.
Oh, okay.
And so that way they could be together.
Mm-hmm. He could be going to visit his sister for their daily tea, and it's tea and her crumpets. What that's called? Yeah, the tea and her crumpets.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are some really soft crumpets.
He's dipping something in her tea, that's for sure.
That's right. Teabagging it.
Like with company ink, never dip your pen in the family ink.
Seriously, that's true.
No.
It's true. I learned that one the hard way.
That's company ink, not family
she meant company ink,
I meant
folks,
company
not
ink.
family ink.
We were talking about family ink.
Well, he said, I know, but he said it's like company ink. He said,
and
like
then he said family ink.
Yeah, don't dip your... Yeah, okay, I see where we're going with this.
She means company ink, folks.
I'm talking about company ink.
She's not a Lannister.
I'm not a Lannister enough for that shit.
I hope not. I know your brother.
Yeah, not him.
So we get the same old argument again about Jaime, and nobody bothers to bring up the fact that Jaime can't even fucking inherit anything.
I know. It's like they all kind of forgot about that. Maybe it's because he broke the one oath of not killing a king.
But he's still a member of the Kingsguard, so it's like...
Yeah,
he's still under oath.
I don't know.
And you've got the Lord of Winterfell and the Warden of the North and the King of the Realm both here talking about how Jaime's going to inherit Casterly Rock. Well, they both should know full well that Jaime can't fucking inherit Casterly Rock.
Yeah,
I know.
that he's done,
He
and
can't
then
do
it's all going to go to
anything.
Tyrion. Or at least theoretically, all should go to Tyrion. But
Yes, it should.
Tywin also doesn't want to go to
Tyrion.
Tyrion. Yeah,
Because he's a
Which
bastard
is
in
stupid
his
because
father's
I
eyes.
think for the Lannisters, the best bet would be Tyrion.
Tyrion would be the best
he's
bet.
the smartest out of
Minus-
all of them. He's even smarter than his dad.
Yeah,
I think he's smarter than his dad.
I think he's not smarter. Well, I think he's, yes, smarter than his dad, but I think what makes him better than his father is that he has at least a sense of compassion.
Yes.
His father
Whereas
has
Tywin
no
has
compassion.
none
Tywin has no-
whatsoever.
okay. He has no compassion and like a straight strategical mind. Yeah, I think that one there. Strategery. Go, W. Bush on that one. Got some strategery.
Don't misunderestimate me.
Yes, exactly. What is?
That was Bill Clinton.
Was that Bill Clinton?
Yeah, it depends on what your definition of
misunderestimate.
is.
Oh God,
There's
that's
one definition of is. Actually, I don't think there's technically any definition of is.
it's a verb and it's an article in a sentence and it's a verb.
But yeah, George Bush was they misunderestimate me.
Yes.
So apparently we all underestimated him in the incorrect way, and we should have been underestimating him in other ways.
It's, yeah, that's,
But you know what?
that's how
That's
it
such an
works.
accurate statement. He has no idea how accurate of a statement that was.
What always struck me as hilarious is his
God.
wife was a fucking librarian, and the guy could barely fucking
And
read
she
or
was
speak
probably
English.
rolling her eyes behind him.
She's probably like, I've told him how to say that 1,000 times. God.
Oh boy!
All right, so we go to that, and then Robert finally.
Wait! Oh, we get one of my favorite sets of lines here.
Which one?
When Ned goes, "Your Grace, may I speak frankly?" And Robert
yes.
answers, "I seem unable to stop you." Robert grumbled.
Yes, that's my
you
favorite
know-
one.
Because King Robert's always let Ned say what
Yeah, I mean, they're
say what he
essentially
will.
brothers. I mean, they grew up together, so
Right.
Yeah,
you know.
So,
Yep.
like,
They have
she's
good
gonna say
banter.
something. She's gonna say something, and I'm not gonna have any power to stop her.
Right.
pretty much.
So
Yeah.
she's gonna run her mouth no matter what.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you will.
I know. I love you too.
And then we get into the argument Ned makes about how can we trust Jaime because he
'Cause
killed the king, even though he's a member of the Kingsguard,
Yep,
and blah, blah,
broke his oath,
blah.
blah, blah, blah.
Because
Kingslayer.
somebody had to do it.
Yeah, which Robert's
Some-
like, fuck off, Ned.
Yep,
I'm
and then
tired
this
of
is
you.
where the show's like, oh, let's give Jaime his redemption arc because he killed the fucking king and fucking threw a kid out a window.
No, his redemption arc comes
Starts
later.
way later.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Isn't it like after he loses his hand or whatever?
That's part of it. Yes.
that's
I
part
figured that was part of
yes.
it.
But this,
Trying to save
this
Brienne
is
of Tarth.
before the story
Because he
even
saves Brienne
happens.
of
So,
Tarth.
Yeah.
so there's no redemption about this. They kind of just look the other way and let him stay Kingsguard.
I don't
No,
think I
yeah.
don't think that Jaime needs a redemption arc personally.
I don't think he does either.
So
Listen, don't roll your eyes over there, bitch.
yeah, Jaime
I'll
Lannister.
roll my eyes.
Miss
at-
Lady-
Jaime
Miss
Lannister
Lady of the Night.
2020.
Excuse me, I'm a widow because I want to be.
Exactly. At least I marry them first.
That's
Jaime-
just too much fucking trouble at this point.
Jaime Lannister 2020.
Oh. That's the little stop clock on the 6
Lannis-
seconds thing.
It sounds like Ricky Tikki Tavi.
Lannister and Lannister. Jaime and Tyrion 2020.
Yes.
Oh, God.
That'll be good.
That'll be interesting.
But yeah, so then they go through that conversation where he's just like, oh, he tainted the throne that you're sitting on and blah, blah, blah. He's
Robert's
a
like, he won me my throne, and Ned goes, I think you mean tainted.
tainted. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? Why do you hate this guy so bad? And then he's like, oh, well, the day that we went there, the crowned, or the lion of Lannister flew over the city, not the crowned stag, and blah, blah, blah. And Tywin was supposed to be fighting for you, not for himself.
And Jaime was sitting on the Iron Throne.
Yeah, and
I
I
had
get-
to tell him to get off.
Yeah, he's like, I had to run down. I had to ride my horse all the way down that fucking hallway in the great throne room area, blah, blah,
I don't
bullshit.
think Ned rides his horse into the Great Throne Room.
No, he did.
Oh,
He
okay.
said he
Yeah,
did.
he literally rode the horse up the stairs and down the Great Hall where all the dragon heads were, and fucking stops in the middle of the throne room on his horse, and
that's
fucking
right.
Lannister sitting there on his ass.
I thought Tywin was only that much of a dick.
So-
Okay. Apparently
it
Ned
says-
was too.
Yeah, Ned was
Silence between.
that much of a dick. For that moment, he was that much of a dick. I think the reason he was that much of a dick is because the Lannister lions were flying all over the
Yeah,
place.
since they
Probably.
weren't doing it under the crown.
Yeah, because he thought he was still going to have to battle, so he may as well battle from horseback.
Yeah, it says, I was still mounted. I rode the length of the hall in silence between the long rows of dragon skulls.
And then all I hear is click, 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 clink, 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 because I can just see the horses galloping down the thing.
Yep. And we get Robert's kind of response to it. He's like, "You think I should mistrust Lannister because he sat on my throne for a few minutes?" He shook with laughter again. Jaime was all of 17, Ned. Scarce more than a boy.
Okay, so 17 can be scarce more than a boy for a boy or a guy, but once a girl bleeds, she's a woman and off she
Well, not
goes.
to mention the fact that I think at this point, Ned and Robert were like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Tops.
So
they were scarce more than boys as well.
It's just a feminine.
No,
feminist in me.
It is, but but the same token is that.
I guess we were
for the theory that women mature faster than men.
Yes.
And then on top of that, it's also the theory that, like, everyone who dates, like, younger than them or has people, like, it doesn't matter that your sibling is only 2 or 3 years younger than you. They're your baby brother or sister, and they don't get to hang out with you and your friends.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's the same thing. Like, he might have been 17, and these two might have only been, like, in their early 20s or whatever, but he's still a little fucking tweeny bopper kid, and they don't want anything to do with him.
Well, I guess we were the exception, weren't we? Since you were my little sister's best friend first. By a long shot.
Yep. So now and then Robert goes, "Well, now I know Jaime's dark sin, and the matter can be forgotten. I am heartily sick of secrets and squabbles in matters of state, Ned. It's all as tedious as counting coppers."
Yep, and there we've got
great
one more
King Robert.
we got one more jab at the fucking being a king thing right there. I'm fucking tired of this bureaucrat crap.
Bureaucratic bullshit.
Thank you. That's what I'm.
Yep.
I'm all tongue tied today, apparently.
And then we close out with Ned thinking about how he belongs back in Winterfell with Catelyn.
Is that what he's really thinking?
Well, it says it right there.
Oh,
Robert would
okay.
be pleased, and as always,
I was reading the sentence after that.
And nothing Ned could say or change that. He belonged in Winterfell. He belonged with Catelyn in her grief and with Bran.
Okay, I was reading the sentence after that.
Right, so he believes that he belongs there, but then he also understands that
a man cannot always be where he belongs.
Yep.
But is he saying he belonged in?
I think he's saying he belongs in Winterfell. He knows his place is in Winterfell.
Okay.
There always has to be a Stark in Winterfell. He's the Lord of the North.
Okay.
The Lord of Winterfell. So he belongs in the North, but he's going south.
Yeah, it says literally right there he belongs in Winterfell.
Yeah, and I feel like part of it too is that he's saying that he doesn't belong with Catelyn. He belongs with Catelyn in her grief.
He belongs in Winterfell.
No, I know, but he's saying that he belongs with Catelyn in her grief. As in, like, I don't give a fuck about Catelyn, but I should be sitting here feeling guilty about my kid right next to her instead of dealing with this bullshit that I'm dealing with right now with Jaime Lannister.
Yeah.
Traveling down the King's Road with a motherfucking Lannister on his back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
No, there was a sentence in here that drew my attention.
There's a lot of sentences in here that drew my attention. They're all in succession. It's kind of like a book.
Fuck you. No, there was a sentence in here somewhere that went where Ned was saying something about how he's lived his lives for 14 years. I think that was back in the conversation he was having at the beginning of the chapter with... Yes, right there. Ned's mouth tightened in anger. "Nor will I leave it be, Robert, for the love you say you bear me. I dishonored myself, and I dishonored Catelyn in the sight of gods and men."
Mm-hmm.
How would he dishonor Catelyn?
We went over this.
No, that's not the line I'm looking for. Hold on. Where is it? Give me a second. I'm running on 24 hours.
I know. I'm just making some Jeopardy music for the people out there to listen to while we're looking for the line. Because who doesn't like listening to Jeopardy music while waiting?
Because it'll just get cut. Okay. All right.
I have that.
So it was in the conversation where they were still talking about Jaime sitting on the throne. Mm-hmm. But Ned said, troubled sleep was no stranger to him. He had lived his lives for 14 years. Mm-hmm. What lives would he be living for 14 years if...
That's how old Jon and
Rob
are.
Yes. Yeah. What kind of lives would he be living for 14 years if he didn't, if he was being an honorable man. Like,
well, either way, no matter who Jon's mother is, it's a lie that he's telling.
right.
So he's living that lie for 14 years, regardless of who Jon's mother is.
True.
Yeah, because even if it's Lyanna's child, he's still lying to everyone. Yeah, he's still lying that it's his son.
Regardless
to save
of
her.
regardless of who the mother is, he's still living lies about it for 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So that doesn't point clearly either way.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, no, I just...
Nothing points clearly.
Of course.
because it's George.
Well, because if
there.
say that line came, like, I don't know, a couple chapters later when Jon's mentioned to be 15 and Rob's still 14, he'd be like, oh, no. Like, he's living a lie for 15 years and so-and-so's 15 years old, but fuck the other kid.
Because the other kid's only 14.
Exactly. So he'd be living, well, actually, no, he probably would still be living a lie for 14 years because Jon would be 15.
Jon does turn 15 before Rob
That's
does.
what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if that chapter came a couple months later, or a couple chapters later, where Jon had turned 15 and Rob was still 14, and he said that I've been living a lie for 14 years, he'd be all fucking over that, being like, yeah, see, he wasn't living a lie when he had his one son, but he started it when he lived the other son.
And he probably will once we get to that chapter.
He doesn't say that there, though. He says it here.
No, he will.
No, what she means is, well, I can't connect them because
they're not connected themselves because of the way that the book is written. I'm saying if the book was written slightly differently,
you're saying if that statement from Ned came later on after we learned that Jon is 15,
yes,
then it would be different.
Yes,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I think I mean it could go either way as far as that goes. I don't really have anything else to say about this chapter.
I think we beat this horse to death.
Yeah, definitely.
That poor horse.
We fooked that chicken.
This Destrer, we Robert Baratheon it to death.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's a war steed. Destry is a war steed.
It's like a big, gigantic horse.
I'm well aware what a Destry is.
Waymar Royce Road.
Yeah.
Be stealthy in the north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the prologue.
Yeah.
Back in episode 1.
What a jackass.
Yeah. Or was it pre-episode 1?
What was episode 1?
It was episode 1, prologue. It was chapter 1 is episode 2.
All right, so I guess that we will call it quits here talking about Eddard 2. Our next chapter is Tyrion 2. Tyrion camping with the Night's Watch on the way to the Wall. So,
or who's soon to be of the Night Watch.
He's camping with Night's Watch members.
Oh, that's right. There's two of them.
There's Benjen there, and Yoren is there, and some other kids who were headed up to the Wall. A couple of rapists.
Lovely.
Rapey.
To take the black.
So, getting a little rapey up in here.
So we will catch you guys next week when we talk about
Tyrion
2. Till then,
yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh, by the way, guys, since this is dropping on New Year's Day,
Happy fucking New Year!
Happy New Year's, guys!
Guys.
Yeah, get that 2018 shit going!
Sure.
We're hilarious.
Right, I'm gonna go.
This is why people listen to us.